Hey, everybody, and welcome back to another exciting episode of the VOD Squad, the show where we talk about streaming technology. This is episode 238, June 9th, 2021. I am Clyde, and today I am joined by Jimmy Tremmel.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
And Matthew Ross.
It's going well. How about you?
Yeah, doing okay, I guess. We're here. It's Wednesday.
It is already.
I know.
Yay!
Yeah.
Oh,
Hey,
joy!
Clyde, did the ground thaw yet in Minnesota?
Did the ground fall?
Thaw.
Oh, thaw? Yeah, it's been like 90 something.
Oh.
Yeah.
I bet you that's actually bad.
If you go in the bar, there's on the Discord, there's some pictures I posted on Sunday. I left town on Thursday to go up north, and it was, in the 70s. And as I mentioned many times, I hate having my windows closed, so I try to keep them open as much as I can during the year. So it was nice-ish. So I left the windows open in the house, and I went out of town. Well, it was unbearable up north. And then when I came back, my house was like 91 degrees. And then I had to turn up. What I did was I drove 4 hours, got back, closed all the windows, turned on the AC, and then got in my car and left again. Because I was like, at least my car's got AC. I can go someplace. I can't do it. And then it took almost 24 hours to get my house down into the 70s. And I'm still fighting to try and keep it at like 75. It's, I hate it.
Well, it shouldn't be that hard to do with that much moisture in your air. You should be pretty easy for you to use that to, bring the temperature down.
Well, no, the moisture is what makes it hot. You got to get the moisture out, and then it.
Yeah. But the fact that it would, if it's internally circulating the air, if you can circulate the air through.
No, I got my humidity into actually, but that's part of the problem is I've been running the AC so much right now that my indoor humidity is like at 28%, which is absolutely terrible for all my guitars. I have to try to keep the indoor. There's a balancing act because you don't want it in the 30s because wood dries out and it cracks, but you don't want it above 50 because that's when mold starts to grow. So trying to keep your humidity like around 45. Yeah, during the summer or during the winter I can do it because I've got the indoor humidifier that's built into the central air. But during the summer, AC just.
I was just curious to see what my humidity was here. It is 58% right now outside humidity.
Yeah, in this room I keep a thingy.
Oh,
so
keeping track of it.
Yep,
that's good. Yeah, that's wonderful. That's good stuff. Do you have a humidifier just in case it does get too low?
I've got one on the. Like I said, I can turn the one on that's attached to the central air.
Central air humidifier.
Yep.
Interesting.
Because during the summer, during the winter, it's so dry you have to. A lot of houses don't. That's one of the things I like about this place is it.
Very cool. Oh, no. Usually the humidity is high enough, it just rains here. So, it's just how it is. It's one of the things about having that, the Cascades to the east of us and all the weather goes past us from west to east. It just decides to dump it right on our heads. That's just how it works here.
Yep, that's why that's how that Seattle sound came about and was so depressing. All those
Because
bands.
we were all depressed.
Yeah,
We were all
because it's just
we were
raining all
all
the time.
just inside our garages and just
Don't you guys like wear like those yellow rain slickers pretty much year round? Anytime you leave the house.
no. Nobody ever wears those. Also, almost nobody uses an umbrella,
Oh.
which is actually weird. Sometimes an umbrella is a good thing, but no. Generally, it's not that.
Oh, okay.
So, no.
But you probably
wool
should.
hats because wool repels the moisture. So yeah,
So everybody wears a toque.
sometimes,
Okay.
especially when it's cold.
Cool.
Hey, you know what?
Hmm.
We actually have a little bit of news to talk about if you want to.
Yeah, let's do it.
Oh, you do?
I know.
Hey, that's unusual.
I had to change it up for a week.
Wow. Because like I was ready for you to go, okay. Because that's usual. That's your
I
line,
know. I
man.
figured, we'll mix it up.
You've thrown me off. I don't know what to do. Okay, fine. Well, we'll talk
Mission
about Paramount
accomplished.
Plus. Paramount Plus is beefing up their various sports that they were having available to them. In particular, looks like this week they've done a couple of deals for adding more soccer to this lineup. The first story here is the fact that they've added the AFC to its soccer lineup.
The AFC?
The
So
AFC.
like the Chargers and the Vikings?
I have no idea what you're talking about. The Asian Football Confederation.
Oh.
So this allows you to see those World Cup 2022 qualifiers, the Cloverage. Excuse me, where are those guys? But anyways, all the different teams in the Asian markets are now available for you to watch within Paramount Plus. And on top of that, they've also added the Women's Cup, which allows you to watch all the ladies' leagues as they play across this. So, hey, if you're a soccer fan, Paramount Plus might be the great place for you. He says they're in the NFC.
No, oh, maybe they are, but the Chargers are AFC. And the Chargers play the Vikings every once in a while, so I figured the Vikings were also. I don't know. But I was going to say, have you ever heard of the Super Bowl?
I've heard of it, yes.
Okay. Who plays in the Super Bowl? It's AFC versus NFC.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Yes, you're right. It's like, but who does?
No, I was saying that's what the Super Bowl is. It's AFC versus NFC. So apparently the wrong people have been playing in the Super Bowl. It should have been the Asian Football Collective.
Consortium. I think watching that game would be hilarious.
You've got that.
Somebody tries to pick up the ball, throw it. The other guy gets up, gets his cleat, does a bicycle kick on it. This is just awesome. I would totally watch it.
That would be the first Super Bowl I would actually tune into.
Yeah, I don't know. It seems like all the different streaming platforms have been trying to pick up their piece of the sports ball pie, and Paramount Plus is really leaning into this soccer stuff. So. It's good for them. Quite frankly, I kind of am happy that the sports are kind of finding their market to be in. I would hate it if all of a sport I love was basically split up among a whole bunch of different streaming services. That would be really annoying.
At least they're not wasting their money on something pointless that nobody will watch, like WNBA.
And here it comes. Yeah, there it is. I think that's the third time he's dunked on them. Haha. Okay.
Oh, I've got a new one. I've got a new one based on local news. I'll save that for the after show.
Okay. Well, but this is good. Okay. So is there any other sports that you guys were hoping would come to a streaming service that you want to see?
Professional dodgeball?
I would watch that. But what channel should it be on?
ESPN.
Okay, makes sense.
It's better than most
the Ocho, right?
No, or the full ESPN.
I'm trying to remember. Wasn't that the ESPN channel that they chose to make to put the dodgeball for the movie Dodgeball?
Oh, that's right. The Ocho. You're right.
You're watching ESPN the Ocho, and it's like,
yeah,
it's like that's great.
I forgot about that. Hey, but if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball, right?
Okay. Next story we have is Stadia. Stadia is now finally coming to the Chromecast and to other Google Android platforms. It has been available on the original, the special edition Chromecast Ultra that they sold with the Premier kits for quite some time, but they are now finally opening it up, so it is going to be available on many different Android platforms.
Yeah.
They have an officially supported list, which includes the various NVIDIA Shield TVs, the Android, the Sabrina, as we usually call it, which is the Chromecast and Google TV, and also a couple of the Mi boxes, I think, including ours, which is the Mi Box, the Mi 3, and the Mi 4, are both supported options on there. Also available on some of the different televisions, like the Philips and the ones, and smart TVs, like from Hisense. And even the full FHD streaming stick and UHD streaming device, these are brand new devices that are $25 and $30 a piece. And the streaming stick that they have is 1080p and has like no memory in it or any. It's like the lowest of low end. I'm surprised that it's going to be put onto that thing. So
Well, I mean, if
it's a modern
service
chip,
that
but
you're
it's a super
well,
cheap
I was going
one.
to say, but the thing is, you're streaming it directly off the internet anyway,
Right.
so it's not like you have to like cache a lot of information.
No, none of that. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that these are like modern chips inside this box.
Yep.
That's how but it's so cheap because they made it super low end.
I thought you were saying because I thought you were commenting on the fact that it's got like it's gonna run on this even though it has like no memory.
Right. That's true, but that's to be expected.
Yeah.
I'm just surprised. What is obviously happening is that these modern chipsets have the decoder built into it to handle this in the hardware without any kind of software need of the CPU power of that. And so it just must be modern enough to be able to handle it. And the fact that it does, it's supported. That's cool. And I love that. And if you're going to buy one, don't buy the $25 one, but spend the extra $5, get the the $30 one, just so you know it's actually a lot better. But definitely. Also, it's an actual box instead of a stick. That will make Clyde happy.
Yes.
I'm a frequent watcher of the ETA Prime website, and he just recently did those two sticks, and he was very impressed with both of them, even though he would not recommend the stick.
Yeah. I mean, I typically wouldn't recommend a stick either unless that's really what you want.
Right.
Yeah.
All I gotta say is I'm super excited because I actually do want to play for Stadia on my TV. I've been wanting to.
Yeah.
And I'm now finally going to be able to do it. This is going to happen on June 23rd. So apparently it's almost here. And I will finally be able to take my Xbox newest controller, their newest version of their controller, hook it up to this. I don't know if I'm going to have to connect it through my phone to get the internet to get it to work, but that's okay. And I'm looking forward to playing some of the games I have available to me on my TV through this, because through the computer is fine, but I might as well just use the computer at that point.
Speaking of that, what's really funny is I bought my Xbox One controller, or actually this is the new one, so Xbox S whatever series. I bought this controller specifically so I could use it with Stadia. I was playing Stadia a lot. The minute I finally got this thing delivered, I haven't played Stadia since.
Oh no.
I do use it for GTA 5 once a week when I log in to get my free money, but yeah.
Oh, well, maybe you'll get the chance to play it on your big screen TV.
Maybe. Hopefully.
That'd be nice. All right. Here we are. FaceTime. Okay, so we recently had WWDC. This is Apple's big conference talking about all the kinds of new updates they're going to be coming out with in the future. It's focused mostly on developers in order to entice them to continue to develop for the platform. And they usually make a lot of big updates about the new stuff that's coming out in the future. And there were a lot, but focusing specifically on what the kind of stuff that we're interested in here is that FaceTime. FaceTime's getting some updates. It's getting a different look of feel, that's for certain. But the interesting thing from my point of view is that they are finally allowing us non-Apple people, us green bubbles over here, to use FaceTime. What they're doing is that if you are from using an iPhone or other Apple device and you decide to launch FaceTime and try to connect to somebody who isn't connected to an Apple device, they'll be sent a link, probably through an email or what other method, and then they will be able to open up and access the FaceTime, be able to chat with everybody, get pretty much all the features through a web app.
Okay, so Apple finally figured out how to do what WebEx has been doing for 15 years.
Not just web. Well,
But
remember
I
when the
mean,
iPhone came.
WebEx has been doing it forever.
I remember when the iPhone first came out. Before they came out with the App Store, they were telling everybody, make all your apps on the web. So
Yeah.
they're just taking their own advice here. So this is
No, I just meant that there's no native app. So for
that's
the
true.
non-devices, you just do it from the web. But yeah, just
there would be plenty of native apps if somebody would be allowed to support the protocol and make it maybe have access to an API. But we all know that Apple doesn't want to do that because they want to protect their market share, and this is one of the ways they've been doing that, quite frankly. And I can understand it. I still think it sucks. I think they could probably take over a lot of this market and unify it, quite frankly, if they had an open standard. I'm happy that they're doing this, and maybe in the future they will continue to do more of this.
Yeah, but open standard comes at a price too, right?
Well, as we discussed, there's two ways you can make an open standard. You can either, one, dominate the market to the point where everything else doesn't make sense, so that becomes the standard. That's kind of Apple's way of doing it. Made sense. Or to everybody get together and design a standard, and we say, please adopt this. We are trying to make something that works for everybody.
Yeah, but that's not going to happen.
Well, no, that did happen.
And then if you make an open standard, then you got to do it for all the hardware makers, right? So then and that's not so easy to do.
WebRTC is exactly that, and it's been done for years and years now. And we're on Zoom, which is based off WebRTC technology,
right?
So
but a company like that makes one product.
Correct. I agree. And
Apple makes a lot.
We've been using WebRTC regardless of what platform we're using. When we were streaming directly to Diamond Club TV, that was WebRTC. When we were on Skype, that was WebRTC.
Before Skype was,
I get what you're saying, right? But what I'm saying is from Apple's perspective, right? I mean, they're a hardware manufacturer.
Right.
First.
Well, Skype is made by Microsoft. Right. Do they only make Skype?
No, Skype bought Microsoft. They didn't really make it.
But still, it doesn't matter. It's part of that same company. They make lots of things.
Did I misunderstand? Jimmy, did you just say that Skype bought Microsoft, not the other way around?
I meant to say it the other way around.
Oh, I wanted.
Darn it!
I like it better when Skype bought Microsoft.
Well,
that would have made so much sense, and they hit it this whole time.
Yeah. Skype, I think, was actually eBay.
Yeah,
I don't think they were the company that came up with it, but they were the first ones to buy them, right? Because they thought that's how buyers and sellers would communicate, right? So it was eBay that had them first.
And before Skype, Microsoft was pushing their web meeting. I remember web meeting was an H323 protocol, open standard thing. And that worked pretty darn well for its time.
But again, a company only has so many resources, right? And if you're a hardware manufacturer, right, you're going to make it for the hardware you produce.
I understand.
But now what Apple is doing here, you're right. They're just making it on par with all the other web conferencing apps out there, right? And making it so that, okay, if you don't have an Apple device, here's a link.
It's not on par.
You can join in, the conversation.
I would say it's not on par because on par with the other apps would mean creating a native app.
Right. So,
The other
Well,
ones have
on
the
par-
option. You have the option that if you don't want to install the app, then you can do the web. But
again, yeah, Zoom doesn't make hardware. Skype doesn't make hardware, right?
So-
None of those that you say that's on par make hardware.
no,
Apple does.
all Apple had to do was say, "Here's the API." You know.
yeah. No, you're not understanding, Jimmy. I'm arguing for Apple to dominate the market. I want them to be the market leaders and say, hey, you can use our protocol because we made it and it is good. I want them to do that. I know I'm not usually that kind of guy, but I'd much rather have one company who makes a standard and make it available to everybody. I don't mind if that's how we get there. I just hate the fact that I have Duo and all these other things and FaceTime and the Facebook's Messenger and WhatsApp and all these other ways of doing it.
I mean,
I want somebody
how many
to
have
win.
we used? How many have we used in the lifetime of this show? Right.
I want one company to basically say, we're going to use this, and here we are, and everybody kind of goes, wow, this is the best. I think it's great. We know that Apple owns it. We know that Apple does it the best, just like PDFs from Adobe. Adobe created PDF, and they made it the standard. They kicked ass with it, and now I think they're floundering with it, but the standard is there, and everybody follows it instead of everybody having to have different kinds of formats.
All I know is
I want that.
It's too little too late for me. They spent years and years telling me, nope, you can't use this because you aren't using the right hardware. Now, hey, please use this. We'll give you this kind of janky web link. Please use it. And my answer is no, not interested. If someone were to send me a link, I'd be like, nope, no thanks.
So my goal would be that Apple produces an app that works on Android. The web link's fine for everything else. I think that's fine.
I mean,
for
even if they did create an app, I'm not interested.
I know, but then they come up and say, here's an app, and then after they've won the war, they then allow third parties to come in and make their own apps that can also work with it. Because Trillion will come in and work on anything, right? That's the idea of it. It's just, but I'm tired of. I don't like the disembodiation of all the different apps all doing their own things, and none of them are compatible with each other. I would like to have something either by open standard win or by de facto standard win. I don't care. But darn it, let's consolidate onto a single winning platform. That's my argument. I'm fine with the web. The fact that web won over Gopher, I'm really good about that. About the World Wide Web winning over Gopher.
Well,
Gopher died, and I'm happy with that.
I guess we all can use Teams.
Excellent title.
Yep. Yeah. Apparently, he got some sort of contribution from a mysterious anonymous donor in Cupertino.
Yeah. It was only for this week, guys. It's all good.
Yeah.
Next week, back to your regular map. But right now, Apple. Oh, hey, how about this? Let's say you're an AT&T customer and you get, 5G, and you pay for that for your home internet. Or you're an AT&T customer and you get a fiber optic connection for your home internet. Hey, guess what? You're going to get access to a Stadia Pro. 6 months of it. If you break it, all you're going to have to do is purchase the Chromecast Premier Edition, the Stadia Premier Edition bundle. And the good news is it's heavily discounted down to $20. Buy that and you get 6 months.
I have to buy the bundle that I bought Cyberpunk to get for free and then turned around and gave it to my nephew because I didn't need it. So I have to buy it again?
Good question. If you already purchased it once, I have no idea how that works, actually.
Well, I got free. I got mine for free because I bought Cyberpunk.
That's right. You had that special link and it lasted just long enough for me to be able to, I want that, click and miss it.
Yeah.
Oh, it pissed me off.
That was the only reason I bought Cyberpunk, and then that was the other thing that I played for it took 2 days to get through the setup. of building your character, and then I got about 15 minutes into the game. And I was like, I don't like this at all.
Well, at least you didn't spend any money. It's all good.
No, I did. I spent $60 on the game.
Oh, that's right.
And I got the free like $90 bundle. But yeah,
Yeah. Sorry, man.
it's okay. So yeah, I'll have to look into this because I'm an AT&T customer, and
Do you have
I
a
have
5G
Stadia
capable
account.
phone?
Yeah.
There you go. Or do you get fiber optic internet from them?
Yep.
I do.
Oh no, Jimmy does.
Jimmy
I
does.
do.
So
Yeah,
both
Jimmy,
of you can
you've
get
been
this.
wanting to try Stadia, right?
Not really.
But what if it was free for 6 months?
I'm not
And
a
you got a
gamer,
free-
man.
You get a Chromecast and a controller out of it. You can send the controller to me.
Or you could
Yeah,
just throw it
but
on
you-
eBay.
You know what's funny? I mean, this is an AT&T article, and it's written by Engadget, and Engadget is owned by Verizon. Right?
Well, and the guys at Engadget make it perfectly clear that while they are owned by Verizon, they are not editorially controlled by Verizon. They are allowed to say bad things about Verizon whenever they feel
do.
like it, and they do.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of like how Family Guy always rips on Fox.
Oh yeah.
Or
That's
The Simpsons have been making fun of Fox for 30 years.
That's true. They have.
Yeah.
You know, that's called having a good sense of humor. Quite frankly, that is good.
Mm.
And if you're not allowed to do that, you need to find a new place to work. You should be able to make fun of.
Yeah, if you're not allowed to do that, you should leave ABC and end up on Fox. Oh, wait, that did happen. Last Man Standing.
Okay. Fubo TV. They've got their live streaming, and I just want to let you know that if you have one of the LG platforms, the LG Smart TVs, it is now available inside of the television's apps, inside the app ecosystem available on LG TVs. So if you have been looking to get into your Fubo TV for your sports themed live streaming content, your LG TV should now have that available to it. Models from between 2018 and today should be able to download and use this new app. It's cool.
You know, I suppose this is how most people, access apps for streaming and all, is probably through the TV's software and all. But I've never done this. Do you guys ever do that?
So I do that for my Roku TVs because I just purchased them.
Okay.
And
But
they've
now
got
a Roku TV,
Exactly.
which is software built. They made little Roku streaming boxes.
And everybody
that-
in my family, including the my parents who come visit, can understand how to use a Roku. So it's basically good enough that I can hand the remote over and it's good. For that
Okay.
reason, I do that.
Right. Okay. So that might be the exception, right? But all these, and I have an LG television, right? But I've never once used the software.
Because you use the Apple TV because you're bought into that ecosystem.
Yeah. But I mean, it's a streaming box, right? I mean, yeah, I think all of us typically, unless you own something like a Roku TV, right? That's a good exception to that rule. But
Yeah.
like somebody like us, I mean, we're always going to use the little streaming box, right?
I have so many stream boxes plugged into different things for different uses. So yes, but at the same time, the Roku TV on all of the one TVs, like this guy is not a smart TV. It actually is an old smart TV, but JVC smart TV. So all the apps in there are dead now. and I have that old Emerson upstairs that I got at Walmart. It's dumb as a brick. So it's got a Roku connected to it. So so every TV in the house has a Roku somewhere, including this one has the old Roku 3 on it. So yeah.
Yeah, at least once a month somebody comes to me and they say, "Hey, the apps on my TV are like so old. Like Netflix doesn't even have profiles." It's like, what's up with that? I go, "Are you using the built-in smart stuff?" Yeah, don't.
Yeah.
Just get a Roku or something. A Roku will make anything smart.
Right.
I mean, the newer TVs now, I mean, I mean, used to, you'd buy the quote unquote smart TV and would never get a software update, right?
Mm-mm.
I mean, nowadays they're getting better with that, but they still, I, I would imagine they lag behind the streaming boxes, but maybe
I
I'm
mean,
wrong about
even the
that.
streaming boxes will fall off at some point, but you're
Sure.
talking like 10 years, you
Yeah.
know? Every time we report on such and such boxes no longer going to be supported,
Mhm.
it's always like, well, but it's been like 10, 15 years. Oh, this is the second generation Roku from 2008.
Mhm.
Okay. You shouldn't be using it anyway. Um, shell out the $50 and get something new.
Yeah.
You got your $40 out of it like
Yeah.
10 years ago.
I'm trying to see where it is. It was made by Epson. Yeah, I think this is it. This is the Epson Epic Vision. It's a short throw laser projector,
Oh, yeah, I remember
and
that.
they're expensive. They're not cheap. They're $5,000 starting off, but it comes with a pretty awesome
Yeah.
technology and all that. But here's the coolest thing that I saw when I saw them do this is that it comes with some type of streaming stick. I think either a Roku or it's
I think it's Android TV.
an Android TV,
I think
but
so.
it comes with a streaming stick. So
Mhm.
it actually has a part of the system you can open up, and you put the stick in there,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and then you close that, and then it's in there. All TVs should do this. This should be how it is done, is that you have a spot where when if you're done with it, you can just pull that piece out and it becomes a dumb monitor.
They were doing that with the MHL port, if you remember MHL. But the problem is nobody used it. It was one of those things that it just finally went away because it was nice because if you take a streaming stick that is MHL compliant, you plug it in there, and then you were able to control everything on the stick from your TV remote and vice versa. That, it was essentially what you were asking for. But the thing is, nobody used it. And
Nope.
so companies that making the sticks just stopped supporting it. And then the TV people just,
Well-
I think there might still be TVs out there coming out with MHL ports, but I don't know.
Yeah, they just need to just make it one spot inside the back of the TV designed to have a stick there, easily designed for that.
Mhm.
It wouldn't take very much, space to do that, quite frankly. And then, so that way you don't accidentally have, a stick sticking out the side of the TV that, you can see, which would suck. Just a spot where that makes sense. And a power port that's USB that's powerful enough to play it, because there's plenty of power in the TV. I'll tell you that much. I don't see why this isn't part of the design, and that we should be how they do everything. And then sell it with the TV, or say, or you can go ahead and get the Fire Stick version. It's the same model with a different stick in the box.
Well, that's basically what TCL is doing.
yeah,
They're not giving you the option to unplug it. They're saying, hey, you want a Roku TV? Okay, here's a TV with Roku.
Right.
You want a Fire TV? Well, here's a different TV with Fire TV. It's the same TV. It's just got different thing plugged in. And I'm willing to bet that if you opened one of them up, they didn't even do anything different. There is just a streaming stick in there plugged into an inside HDMI port. Because if I was in charge of these TV companies, that's exactly what I would do. You don't have to redesign the wheel. Just plug it in. I mean, people shouldn't be opening their TV up anyway.
yeah.
You just fasten it so that it can't wiggle loose, and then
There you go. There's a TV.
carry on.
Hey, new model. Pull the little one out. Stick the new one in. Here we go. New model.
And then you get to pull a date on and say, hey, all of the new TVs come with the newer version of the Roku. If you want, send your TV back. You cover the shipping. Send the TV back to us. We will
$100
upgrade it, and it'll only cost you $250. I mean, that's half the price of buying a new TV.
$30 stick at Walmart.
Yeah. But they don't know that.
I love it. No, I agree. I completely agree. This is an awesome idea. I don't see why they're not doing it. They probably should be. Hey, so speaking of smart TVs, Samsung has smart TVs. What is the Samsung smart TV? Is that the Tizen platform they're using?
Well, they are using Tizen on pretty much anything they can put it on.
Yeah, but except for they decided not to for the watches. So yeah. I think Tizen is their TV.
They decided not to for a specific watch that they're doing in
partnership with Google, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyways, they've announced that they're getting Peacock to come to their smart TV platform. Ooh. So you will be able to watch your various shows from the NBC network.
A whole year after Peacock was available everywhere else. They're finally like, fine, stop asking us.
Wasn't Peacock for the longest time not on Roku?
Yeah, that's why it's been on Roku for a year now.
Okay. So I forgot when it actually came out on it.
Yeah. But yeah, somebody was pestering him saying, "Hey, you keep saying when later. Is it later yet?" Fine. We'll make your here's your app for Tizen. Go away.
Poor Tizen. You know, I feel bad for Tizen.
Don't. It's being consoled by Bixby. And
that's a reason to
Bixby.
That's a reason to be bad for Tizen, quite frankly. It has to deal with Bixby.
Anybody that has seen Final Space, Bixby reminds me of Kevin. Kevin is one of my favorite characters on Final Space, but if you've seen Final Space, you know what I'm talking about.
All right, and believe it or not, we only have one more story this week. HBO Max. It's been working perfectly. Haven't had a problem at all. I don't understand
I haven't had any problems. I use it on 3 different devices, and
it's working perfectly fine. And apparently, if you are a lucky customer who is using it on an Apple TV device, you've not been able to pause, fast forward, rewind. You've been having different unable to close the app. It's just it's been apparently broken like all last week.
So I mean, if it's working everywhere else, that sounds like an Apple problem.
And it was an Apple problem. They just sent out an update that looks like this is going to be fixing most of the problems. But it looks like it's when Apple made a change. And or HBO Max made a change, and they changed the kind of player that's being used inside of it. They moved away from the one that's built into Apple to play the media into their own, and by making that move, they had broken things on that app. So sorry if you're an Apple person who's been trying to enjoy your HBO Max. It's been a bumpy experience recently.
What was the problem? Because I've been watching it all the time and I haven't experienced anything.
So a lot of people were making the argument that sometimes they weren't able to get things to pop up correctly. They weren't able to get it to play or stop or fast forward. And this was because they made an update to the app that changed it from using the default Apple's native tvOS player into the one made by the guys at HBO Max.
Admittedly, when I'm watching something on HBO Max, I usually don't fast forward or anything through there, right? I mean, there's no.
But do you ever exit out of it?
He's like, it's never a problem. He just turns it off.
Yeah.
Do I exit out of it? Yeah, when I'm done watching.
That was one of the problems. People couldn't exit out of it.
Oh. No.
All I know is if I was the media relations guy for HBO Max, I would, the minute people started complaining about it, I would have put out a press release saying you're pushing the button wrong.
Poor Apple. You know, they put themselves up to such a high standard. We have to also do that for them, you know? Got, you got to take those companies who take themselves so seriously and just
See,
yeah.
nobody's
Well, I mean,
Nobody
nobody's
screwed up.
maybe they'll give us a free bumper for our remotes, huh?
Yeah, they should. I think so.
yeah.
Okay, actually, I want a whole bumper for my TV or for the Apple TV, just around the Apple TV, so I can throw it against the wall and it'll be okay.
Like
It
a
just bounces
Wiimote?
off. Yeah. Those things, I have one of those somewhere around here. They're ridiculous.
With the silicone skin. That from a distance, that did not look like what it was.
I know. Just so you know, a lot of people I know call this the Wiimote condom for a good reason. Because
Yeah, I can remember that commercial they made, maybe a little while after that had been out, where the guy was playing it and he throws it at the TV and it sticks into the TV.
yeah, that's why they had to make these. That actually was a problem. So
well, the problem was people weren't using the leash.
no, they weren't. Even though I did every time.
Yeah,
it was like
that was the real. The people that made those covers, that's capitalism at work. They saw demand, and they said, "We will meet the demand," and good for them. They made hundreds of dollars for a couple of years, and then walked away.
Also, the string right here, the very first version, the strings were a little thinner, and they would snap. They also fixed that.
Yeah.
Hey, it's when you have a device that sells millions upon millions upon millions, and it involves you literally doing that with your TV, TVs are gonna break. Hey, Skills Cat. So, and believe it or not, that is the news of the week, everybody.
All right, well, that I think brings us back to our favorite point in the show. We say thank you. Thank you to all of the people that... I'm sorry, I'm getting distracted by... Are you doing that right? No, I think you got it backwards. Oh, no. You can't see the buttons. Okay, this is great for the people that are listening to us after the fact. But
so for the audio listeners, I just inserted the Wiimote into the Wiimote condom, and
I thought he was putting it in there backwards because I couldn't see the buttons. They're the same color as the Wiimote. Okay, so as I was saying, we want to say thank you to the people that help keep this show happening, whether you like it or not. We will continue to do this show as long as there are patrons telling us that we should do this show.
Or there's enough patrons paying us $1,500.
Yeah, like I said,
so it's a stop.
If that is still a thing, that is a real thing. Actually, I need to create that patron option.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you want us to stop doing this show and you're willing to become a patron for $1,500. You will nullify everybody else, and we will stop doing the show as long as,
What's interesting with that is that Patreon pays you per episode, right?
No, you can do it by month.
Okay, just because I thought if it was like per episode produced, if you paid once, you would never have to pay again.
Nope, that would be set up as a monthly.
Okay, just curious.
But if you made it this far and you're still thinking, hey, maybe I would like to support these yahoos, head on over to patreon.com/thevodsquad. We are accepting members now.
Now?
Yes. Right now.
Good.
Like on those infomercials where there's like the lines are open now. Call now. For the next 10 minutes.
Oh, man. That worked on people. So, I better call now.
You know what doesn't work on people? Rants and raves. Okay. I don't know if that worked or not, but
It
rants and
sounded like it
raves.
worked. Hey, Jimmy, you should go first this time.
Hey, yeah, I'm in the pole position here.
You are.
There's a poll?
Yeah, so been working a lot, and haven't really watched a lot of television this past week, but I am looking forward to season 7 of Bosch. I understand that it's June 25th, I think, is when it's going to be released. So definitely get that marked on the calendar, and I can't wait for that to come in. It will be the last season, unfortunately, but yeah, looking forward to see what they do. I think, Clyde, you made a good point, that, hey, at the last season, they probably could have just ended it there and not had it anymore. But, and I do kind of agree with that, but I am interested to see what they do in season 7, just to see whatever loose ends that they tie.
Yeah, I was curious because, like you said, I kind of thought they were just going to end it there with the last one, and it would have been fine. But yeah,
Somebody's bedtime.
maybe he's gonna I think he's gonna ride off into the sunset and finally retire.
Yeah. Maybe so. Maybe that's what he'll do. Or maybe his daughter becomes a detective.
Well, she just went off to college at the end of last season.
Right, but she was like an intern there, right?
At the law firm.
Oh, true. Yes, that's right.
And that's why she got in trouble because she. Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe don't want to spell it.
Speaking in code, so people who haven't seen it don't know what they're talking about. Like me, who really, you could say anything, and I'd be like,
I would like to
interesting.
see. I would like to see a new season of Goliath. Did you ever watch Goliath?
I haven't, and that's one that I do need to watch.
It was one that I kept avoiding it because I thought it was a different show. There was that show with Ron Perlman that was on Amazon. I watched the first episode. I didn't like it, and I kept thinking that was Goliath.
Oh,
but
gotcha.
Goliath is the Billy Bob Thornton,
right,
like dirtbag lawyer show. It's kind of like the Better Call Saul of L.A. But it's good. It's good. There's been 3 seasons so far.
I gotta get into that one. I gotta put that into my queue.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Matt?
Hey, so this 2 things. First thing, real quick, fast. I'm introducing my son into Monty Python. I'm way behind on doing this to him. We've only watched the first episode of Flying Circus, which I think was a pre-episode, like the history of balloons. And even in that episode, like as a pre-episode, there's a rubber chicken. I just have to mention that. But other than that,
is there a rubber chicken in every episode?
I don't know. I cannot remember. I know there was always a lot of rubber chickens. So.
I was curious because I wondered, the TV show Psych had a pineapple in every episode.
Interesting.
And it became, when people realized that, it became part of the fandom to find the pineapple in the episode.
Was it an actual pineapple, or could it be like a picture?
Sometimes in the first episode, it was an actual pineapple. Sometimes it would be like a pineapple logo on someone's shirt or a pineapple, whatever. But so I was curious when you mentioned the rubber chicken, I was wondering if maybe they did that as an homage to.
Psych?
Well, I would say Psych.
Oh, Psych did it too. Okay.
As an homage to.
Maybe. Who knows? I will keep an eye out with future episodes. But the real reason I want to talk to you guys today is I need some help making a decision. I want you to help me decide which one of these shows I'm going to watch. I got the itch to watch anime because I just got the itch to watch anime. So I went ahead and turned on Hulu and went through that was going, okay, let's pick one. You know what? Let's just pick and watch the first episode of this One Punch Man. Just the first episode. I could see where it is, where it's going. Looks like it'd be a lot of fun. Feels an awful lot like a weird look. My last anime is My Hero Academia. It feels very similar to that when in many ways.
Okay.
So I said, okay, let's change genre. Let's do something completely different. And I picked up Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba.
No, yeah.
Okay, exactly. This is the one I couldn't pronounce. It's like, I don't know how to pronounce this. But anyways, watch the first episode of that one. This is like in a feudal Japan samurai, but with demons. So interesting. Also looks good. So then I went, okay, we got to do something else entirely. So I went all the way went really different, and I just picked up this anime called Wise Man's Grandchild.
Wise Man's Grandchild is the only one that I actually watched beyond episode 1.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of
It's of the three, obviously the least
there's
serious.
really not. Well, I mean, it's not that it's serious. There's like no commitment. It's kind of very light on
fluff.
story too.
It's
total
fluff.
That's that's one that I watched while playing GTA 5. I basically listened to that show.
Now, Clyde, I want you to just help me decide in a minute, but also Jimmy. So I'm going to give you 3 different shows, and I want you to decide which one you think I would watch.
Okay.
One is about superheroes, but this superhero is so strong he always wins with a single punch against the monsters, and he's finding his life to be boring. That's the first one, and there's a certain amount of humor to that, but it's also superhero stuff. 2 is feudal Japan. A poor boy is his family's just massacred by demons, except for his sister, who's turned into a demon, is trying to save her. Okay. And third one is, I don't even know if it's important to the story, but this guy is working and he doesn't realize he gets killed in a car accident and reincarnates into a different world full of magic, is basically raised by Merlin, and is going off to magic school to do magic stuff. Out of those 3, which one would you be interested in watching? I'm just curious.
I'd probably do the one where it's the Japanese feudal system.
Interesting. All right.
I think that's the one I would choose
Okay.
of those 3.
Right, and that's totally just blind. You have no idea about any of this. I appreciate that.
No.
Great. Okay, Clyde, what about you? What do you think?
Honestly, I don't know if I would recommend any of them. Mainly because I tried to watch both One Punch Man and Demon Slayer. I got through the first episode and then never had any desire to go back. And that third one, I have watched all of it, and like I said, it's kind of
it's not. It's really not worth the time.
It's background noise.
Okay.
I would say if you are on Hulu and looking for anime, I would recommend Fruits Basket. They've got the original Fruits Basket from like 2002. And then when you're done watching that, they just rebooted it 2 years ago on Funimation, and they got all the original voice cast actors back, and it's been awesome because they kind of left it. It's the kind of thing I would suggest watching it with your wife.
No, well, she's not into anime, so that's not.
Well, she might be into this.
Okay. All right. I will put that into my thoughts. So.
Yeah, it's that and Clannad, I would say, are the 2.
Clannad?
Yeah, Clannad.
How do you spell that?
CLANAAD. Are 2 that just totally ruined me. They started out, all funny and haha, and then all of a sudden, punch you in the gut with a cement truck.
Okay.
Seriously?
It's on Netflix.
Oh, Skillscat
that
has a recommendation for you there as well.
That's fine. I don't care if it's on Netflix.
But
did you see that, Matt? Skills has a recommendation there for you, Matt.
Okay.
Naoki Urasawa's Monster.
Okay.
Aired in Japan 2004 2006.
No
Slow burn and
tentacles.
compelling.
Good. No tentacles. But and if you want something that's just stupid fun, My Bride is a Mermaid. It is hilarious, and almost every episode has a reference to some sort of pop culture. Like it's funny. It's just stupid fun. But yeah,
Okay. Well, thank you guys. Appreciate it.
sure. All right, for me, Lucifer's back. I thought we were getting a new season of Lucifer because it's the final season. And no, they just gave us 5 new episodes tagged on to last season, which I guess they bailed on last season halfway through. So then rather than give us a season 6, they just said, we'll just wrap it up with. I've got 1 more episode to go. And yeah, they're doing okay with it.
Okay.
But
Hopefully they end it well for you.
I hope so. Because that was a show that completely surprised me. I went into it completely expecting to hate the show, and actually rather enjoyed it. It's
cool.
fun. I was going to say one other thing, but I found out Warehouse 13 is on IMDb TV.
Oh.
I finally get to watch. I'm finally watching the final season that I've been trying to watch for like 10 years. It ended in 2012 or 2014 or something like that.
I watched the first season of that one.
It was a fun show. The
liked
last
it.
season.
I enjoyed the first season. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I liked it.
I mean, there was even a point in that show where they were doing crossovers between it and Eureka. They set them in the same universe, which makes sense because one show is, strictly science and then the other one's kind of magic. Yeah. I didn't remember the Pete character having such stupid hair, but maybe that's just the final episode or final season. I'll find you guys a picture. It's just like dumb. But yeah, that's it.
Cool.
And on that note, we should probably wrap this up. We started 15 minutes late, but we're still ending 15 minutes earlier than normal.
Hey, it was a short episode.
No, I think
That's
it's
okay.
just the right amount. But thanks everybody for hanging out with us tonight, and welcome back, Skills Cat, our #1 fan. Literally. Yeah, if you are catching this after the fact, come join us live. We do this every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Central, here on Twitch. You get to participate in the chat. You get to submit titles that you will get to vote on in the post show. Yes, there is a post show, technically. Do you get to participate or see it after the fact? No. But
Not here.
If you come here and you hang out, then you get to hang around, and then you can question your life choices afterwards. But if you're also wishing that, hey, I don't want to stay up this late, I'm just gonna listen to it later, you can either watch it on YouTube or you can download the podcast, which is available everywhere that podcasts are available. So yeah, I guess there's no excuse. Why aren't you keeping up with the show?
Because I don't know, I'm too busy. I can't believe it. Your excuses mean nothing to me, sir.
I mean,
Consume this show.
I end up
however
listening
you
to the
see fit.
podcast too, and I don't even want to because I've already been through it. But
I just listened to last week's episode yesterday. Yeah. Hey, it was something interesting to listen to. I was working.
Yeah. On that note, I am gonna say shut this down. Thanks everybody for hanging out with us. Everybody else, go over to tbs.showbot.tv and start voting. We'll get to it in a minute. All right. See you next week. Bye.
Farewell.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.